Christmas, and welcome back to the weekly recap. I'm Matt Wacker. For many people, a model train circling the Christmas tree is a holiday tradition. One area museum is bringing American history back to life while preserving a time-worn hobby. Leanne visited the Iron Spike Model Train Museum in Washington.
What this is supposed to typically represent is what a typical Midwestern town looked like from 1950 to 1970 in the Midwest. What railroad towns were and what they had to offer to the people that lived there in that area.
This started out in somebody's personal collection. They had it's built on a ping pong table at this end, which was something that a lot of people had left over in the 50s, and nobody's using it. Let's use that for the table. What we're modeling is late 40s, all the 50s, and early 60s, up through the mid 60s. So there's no Walmarts. Everything's private businesses up on Main Street, because a lot of kids, what we're trying to portray is something that the kids can learn from. We want to have, they think of a train as 120 coal cars going over here to Labadie. That's it. And
It's a big part of life.
it was. A lot of the stuff that's so interesting about the model railroading is all the detail. Down here we have a little flower garden. One of our artists took the cemetery stones home and actually painted names on them. They're 4- and 5-letter names, but they are on there. Wow. Some of the farms and stuff down here are all tied in with what was going on in small towns, at that time frame.
What inspired people to build this intricate of models? I mean, it was a hobby, a huge hobby years ago.
Big hobby in the 50s, yeah. When I was a kid in the 50s, on weekends during the school year, there was, I think, 8 or 9 boys. We were all in the same class, and we would pick up our American flyers and go to somebody's basement on Saturday and set them all up, and Sunday afternoon we took them all down. Took all your spare track and your cars and stuff and made your own trains.
This is not a toy train museum as much as it is a model train museum to show history. Okay. So if people want to say it's a toy train museum, it's not, because there are toy train museums, there are toy train places, but we're trying to model history. When we get this one pretty much completed, there will be 15,000 feet of N-scale trains running from the Mississippi River all the way to the Rocky Mountains. There's going to be 5 DCC and 5 DC operations. This is where you can come. This is the interactive part of the Model Train Museum.
When you say interactive, people are going to be able to touch it?
This is going to be able where you can bring your engine, pick up one of our drags in the yard, and actually run their trains with a real freight bill. They're going to have 5 cars in that drag. Most will be 5 or 6 cars where they actually have to deliver a pickup to all the industries that'll be on the layout. Everything is going to be realistic. We have people here that are with the railroads, that work with the railroads. Some are volunteers, so they know exactly what it takes to do this. And we're bringing it to true life because we want to have it all museum quality. It has to be something that when you look at it, you can see that in real life.
That's the Rocky Mountains. And it really is the Rocky Mountains. The gentleman that built that is a section that we inherited from another display.
They brought it in already.
It was already done like this. He had gone on vacation and made latex molds of the rocks when he was on vacation and came back and cast them.
Wow. There's a foam base and chicken wire and stuff underneath this, and then he used pictures to make his crevices and things from the picture, and then he casted his blocks and pieces and put them up here. But it's actually just like real rock.
And here's the aspen trees, and I've been up in there in Breckenridge and that, and that's what those look like. It's just a lot of detail on a huge scale.
This is all one piece, by the way.
Yes.
30 feet, 6 feet wide, almost 4 feet high, and weighs around 2,700 pounds.
Oh my!
This facility used to be a car dealership, and this is where the wash rack was. So the floor slopes towards the drain. Oh. So every leg on this base is a different length in order for it to be level. The donations that we've received make us call this our God project, because every time we have a need that we talk about, 10 minutes later it walks in the door. When Don was working on the front room, he said, I've got to buy another 300 feet of track. And I know that that's like a $400 expense.
Wow.
Yeah. And at this point, we weren't even open yet, so we didn't have anything to offset the expenses. And I said, well, if you have to do it, you have to do it. 10 minutes later, a gentleman pulled in our parking lot and got stuff out of the back seat of his car and came in with an armload of track and cork, which they use for the base underneath the track. Said, can you use any of this? I've decided not to model in this gauge anymore, and I can't use it. And it was 270 feet of track.
And it was the right size and
The
everything.
right size, exactly what we needed.
A train miracle. So Claire, tell me a little bit about what started the tradition of having trains underneath Christmas trees.
You know, I think that just is something that sort of spontaneously developed. Trains were gifts at Christmas time. Yeah. They were a big gift at Christmas time, and department stores used to have displays of trains in the windows. We used to go down into St. Louis and see the Famous and Barr and Stixbear and Fuller. They all had the decorated windows at Christmas time, and it was typical to have a train involved in it.
So then people just brought it home and put it under their trees, gifts from Santa, that sort of thing.
I think that's exactly right. Yeah.
Dave says it was the iPad of the 50s.
Yeah, exactly. And we're trying to reclaim some of that interest from the youth that are out there and so absorbed with their electronics. We're trying to educate them on the interesting things and the satisfaction of completing something and seeing it come to life.
Yes. Hands-on and it still moves.
Yep, exactly right.
Well, we started the HO in March. We started the N scale in February. We got in the building in November. We had an open house New Year's Day, and people came in and saw all these pieces laid all over and stood here. We did New Year's Day. We had one train running on the front layout, which we purchased, but we were just kit bashing it and putting together. But we had a train running on it. We had buildings setting on it, but we did have a train running so people could actually see. But when they came in May 1st, okay, on our grand opening, okay, we had trains running in the front. We had trains running here in the back. We had trains running on the N scale. So, and it's a work in progress. But what you're seeing right now, all of this has been put together from May 1st.
It's a fun place to hang out.
As part of their educational goals, the museum plans to open a research library and a STEM outreach classroom in the future. The Iron Spike welcomes donations and volunteers. 29-year-old Jason Sanders of West Plains is accused of arson, burglary, and probation violation following an incident on December 9th. According to Sanders, he and his mother were being held against their will at a house on 5th Street. They escaped and were chased to a house on Grace Avenue that Sanders allegedly broke into to seek refuge. Sanders claims the kidnappers set a fire to burn him out. However, during an interview with an investigator from the state fire marshal's office, Sanders admitted to starting the fire himself. He is being held in the Howell County Jail without bail. 28-year-old John Hendricks Jr. of St. Clair is in custody after allegedly stealing a running vehicle. According to the Highway Patrol, a woman from Cuba started her car, went into her home to collect her children, and stepped out to a missing vehicle. Hendricks is charged with first-degree tampering of a motor vehicle and first-degree burglary. In October, we brought you a story involving a shooting at a local West Plains McDonald's. Jason House of Caulfield stands charged with first-degree murder. During his arraignment on December 19th, a plea of not guilty was entered. The case is scheduled to proceed on January 17th, and we will follow this story as it develops. Pulaski County will be saying farewell to longtime Sheriff Ron Long. After 35 years in law enforcement, Long is retiring. Long has been the Pulaski County Sheriff for the past 4 years and originally entered law enforcement in 1978. He will be passing the torch to Jimmy Bench, who has served in the Sheriff's Department for 20 years. A longtime member of the Fidelity family is also retiring. Dwayne Rutgers has been working with the company since 1972. He's become a familiar face in the Owensville area. He was honored with a small reception to celebrate his 44 years of service. His official retirement date is February 16th. Finally, the Travers Autoplex in Eureka honored our heroes on December 17th with a truck giveaway. Nearly 100 active and past military, local fire and police, and EMS were nominated. The lucky winner of the 2016 Chevy Colorado was David Schmietzkamp, an Army vet of the Iraq War. Congrats to him. A quick note regarding last week's episode. During our piece on the Delbert Day Cancer Institute, some video footage was used without express permission. We'd like to extend our apologies to Justin Renaud and PCRMC. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. The weekly recap is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Price Chopper, cooking from scratch; Bayard Dodge of West Plains; ETC Bridal of Lebanon; Beck Motors of Owensville; Parker Custom Arms of Rolla; the Travers Automotive Group; Ted's Barbershop of Lebanon; Tailor Your Insurance; and Chin's Super Buffet. That's all for the recap in 2016. Oh, what a year it was! We met all sorts of interesting people and covered several unique events.
That's right, and it all brought us closer to the communities we serve. We hope that that continues into 2017.
So thank you for your continued support of our show, and we'll see you next year.